Hey guys, it's Madison. In today's video, I am going to be showing you guys how I prep for horse shows. It is Sunday, April 28th, and I am headed to the event at Skyline next weekend. I leave on Thursday, have school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so now is like my only time to prep. I will be packing, cleaning, doing things like that, and I will also be doing a how I pack series as well. I just need to figure out some logistics, as if I want to do like a horse version and a rider version, or if I want the video to be 30 minutes long. Either way, yeah, I was asked to clean my room. Say I did a pretty subpar job, considering half this stuff is stuff I'm bringing, but let's go. Okay, so these are my show pads. This is from Toe Claw. Oh, a Tia. This one's pretty clean. I might not wash this. Ooh, actually, maybe I should. This one is not quite as clean. This one's gnarly. I'm definitely gonna wash this one. These are my two Eco Golds. This is obviously my cross country pad, my jump pad, my dressage pad, and this is my backup / like schooling pad. So I'm gonna wash definitely these two. Alrighty, so as you guys could probably tell, the weather got progressively worse, rainier, wetter, colder as the day went on. I am now back from the barn, and after filming, I just wanted to come back and talk to you guys a little bit more in detail about what I do to prep for a show, talk more about what I do in detail and why I do what I do. So, I try to clean my tack every week at least, and then do a deeper clean before a show, and crazy deep clean before pony club events, because it's pony club. However, that being said, my saddle pads are something that I really try to take care of. My sheepskin dressage pad especially, I try to wash as little as possible, just to keep the fleece in like as good of shape as possible without like ruining it with what's this stuff called, like detergent and things like that. Or is that like, that's for a dishwasher. Is it also called washing machine detergent? Either way, you guys know whatever that stuff is called. My Eco Golds especially, they hold up really well in the washer. And my cross country pad is something I use every time I go cross country schooling. Some people have a different opinion as far as using nice pads and expensive pads frequently. I feel like if I'm going to spend $180 on a freaking saddle pad, I am going to use that thing like there's no tomorrow. And I love my Eco Golds so much. I have no regrets with them, and I highly recommend them. That's just kind of why I use them every time I go cross country schooling. I feel like Penelope's back deserves the best, especially when we're jumping bigger, higher, things are harder on her legs. I just want like the fewest amount of things to be hurting on her. As far as my boots goes, my cross country boots and my open front boots, I try to rinse down or maybe give a deeper clean depending on how they're looking before every show. My white Magica Keeps actually hold up really, really well after washing, considering they're white. It does not come completely off on some parts of it, but the Velcro and the material itself, like the plasticky material, oh my goodness, it looks so good even after just a little power wash with it, like even without soap. So that's awesome. As you guys saw in the video, my open front Arma show jumping boots, I just scrubbed down with some gentle hand soap, which is something that wasn't going to irritate Penelope's skin. But those boots were originally my show jumping open, or like my show open front boots, but I like them enough that I now use them every time I show jump or do grid work or pulls, anything like that. Actually, not really pull work. If it's like elevated pulls, something like that. But if it's like pulls, I'll just use like splint boots. Regardless, those I like to scrub, especially because I often use those more in wet, muddier footing, because I'm not going to go cross-country schooling in the mud, but I will do pull work if it's a little bit wetter or if the ground has been like freshly wet. So those tend to get a little bit dirtier. They are also made of neoprene, which my Magica Keeps are not. Neoprene is meant to keep heat in, like in wetsuits, which means her legs get sweatier in them. So her legs don't get nearly as sweaty in my cross-country boots as they do in her open fronts, which is pretty ironic, but it also is crazy how well the Magica Keeps are working. Because of that, the inside of my open fronts tend to hold dirt a little bit better, which isn't a good thing, because it's just wetter and stickier, and it's just like spongy, if you know what I'm saying. So I like to give those a good scrub as much as I can, while still maintaining the quality of the boots. As far as Penelope's body goes, clipping things like her ears and her feathers and her tail is something I try to do as little as possible. Especially like her feathers that don't grow very long. I do like to keep her Welsh heritage, and it is legal for draft breeds to keep their feathers, so I try to keep those on her. I just try to trim them about once a year, or maybe twice if they're getting really bad. But this is our first show of the season, so it was a good time to trim those up a little bit. At my barn, we do not trim the inside of our horses' ears or their whiskers, we feel like it respects their natural well-being, I guess, if that makes sense, because the inside of the fur on the inside of their ears and their whiskers actually serve a real purpose. The hair that sticks out does not necessarily, and there's like no shame in not having, or there's no effect by having a bridle path or not, other than the comfort of the bridle. There's no like natural use for it, if that makes sense. So I You guys did not see in the video, but I just trimmed up the little hairs on the outside of her ears. Again, did not touch her whiskers or go on the inside of their ears. I do like to do Penelope's bridal path pretty frequently. It tends to grow really fast, and I also just hate when it's like little stubbies, so I always try to keep that flat. I don't use clippers just because I feel like there's so much more room for error with them. Yeah, so scissors are how I do things over here. What else? Obviously, grain is something that you always have to do for a show. I feel like that's something people often forget when they're thinking about pathing for a show, is their horse's grain. Yeah, they'll bring hay, but grain, supplements, things like that are not always the most, like, the first thing that pops into your mind when you think about packing for your horse for a show. So I thought I'd throw that in there. And then, as you guys saw me fill up my fly spray, I like to go through some of my kits and see what needs replenishing. I have like a big bottle of like hoof oil, fly spray, things like that, and just to like replenish my kits and things like that before I go and show, just because obviously fly spray is very needed for cross country, and hoof oil to make her feet look pretty and things like that. It's just always good to kind of go through and refresh what you have, what you need, what needs to be updated, things like that. So that being said, I will be doing, I've decided I'm going to make the 2-part packing series, how I pack for the rider and how I pack for the horse, just because there's so many things to pack. And that way you guys can kind of pick and choose what you want to watch, and I can spread them out a little bit more, so you're not necessarily getting an insanely long video that takes me a lot of time, if you know what I'm saying, because that like 35-minute video one week might compromise the videos to follow, if that makes sense. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I love you all so much, and I hope you all have an awesome day. Peace out, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!